Welcome back. I appreciate you watching my show. Remember to subscribe so that way you can be informed and you can get all the messages and videos we put out to help you in your real estate career or investing. So I've got 5 things that most agents, common mistakes I see in new agents. Some that I've even done as a new agent, almost 8 years ago now. So number one is failing to say no. So I wanted to start with that one because as a new agent, you're going to be super eager to get that commission. You might even be dependent on that commission to pay your next car payment, your next rent, food for that month. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that you might be wanting just to grab any deal that comes your way. But what I found out through experience and living vicariously through other agents, failing to say no to clients who are unrealistic is going to be sometimes the biggest waste of your energy and your time. And it's going to create stress and potentially damage that relationship with a potential customer. Um, an example of saying no is working with someone who is unrealistic. Here's an easy example that I see time and time again in today's market here in San Antonio, because we are quote unquote a seller's market. Basically, what a seller's market is when there's less than a number of months of inventory on the market, it's a seller's market. When there's a certain balance, there's a balanced market. When there's too much inventory, then that's a buyer's market. We've been in a seller's market. We've got right around 3 to 4 months of inventory, which is considered a seller's market. So what sellers are doing oftentimes is overpricing their property, and some agents don't have the skill set or the know-how to have that conversation with the owner to tell them that they're overpriced. So rather than saying no, they say yes to taking that listing overpriced and end up wasting energy, marketing dollars, and possibly creating a bad relationship because several months down the line the property still has not sold. The seller's mad because the agent set that expectation up that they'd be able to get that unrealistic number. So failing to say no, right? Be careful, protect your time, guard your energy, and work with clients who are serious and will follow your advice as the professional. Okay, so my second thing is agreeing to a price that will never sell. And I use this example on the first thing about failing to say no. Really understand the market. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into this one because if you're not familiar with an area, and I'm not talking about just looking at a market analysis and determining what the averages are. If you're truly not familiar with the new commercial real estate that's going on around the house, around the subject property, if you're not familiar with where the potholes might be or the bike trail or a local hotspot close to the subject property, maybe you shouldn't sell in that neighborhood. Find an agent who does more business in that area and send them that referral or co-list with them and go 50-50. Because once you understand a neighborhood, you have an idea of who the target audience is and you have a good feel for who the competition is. Then you'll know what the price is, what the price should be that's going to cause it to sell in the best amount of time, which is going to give your client the best opportunity for a multiple offer situation, which will result in the highest sales price possible. So failing to price it right the first time can create a world of mess for you and your clients, and you're truly doing them a disservice when you don't price it right. So you've got to know your numbers. Don't agree to price a property overpriced because it's never going to sell. It's going to end up sitting on the market 6 months to a year. That client's then going to become what's called an expired or canceled listing. And the minute that happens, that it's canceled and expired, their information gets sold to realtors who buy that list like me, and they're going to be hounded day after day after day with agents calling your client, your ex-client, saying, hey, your house didn't sell, calling to see if I can help you. I specialize with expireds, whatever their conversation might look like. So that's my second thing, is don't agree to a price that you know will not cause it to sell. And at the bottom line, at the end of the day, if you're unsure what that price is, go to a mentor, someone who's been in the business for a while, who understands the area, and ask them for help. Okay, so the third mistake I see is be unwilling to educate your clients. Being unwilling to educate your clients. And let me dive a little bit deep into this. Explain the process of a listing, right? That's one example I can share with you. Closing cost, taking time to talk to your clients, walk them through the process, encourage them to ask questions. Offering too much information is almost always better than offering too little. So I took notes on that. So number 3, being unwilling to educate your clients. That's a big mistake agents make. Even some seasoned agents make that mistake. We do, as an experienced agent, all these years in the business, we know the process, right? Hopefully you know your system from start to finish. You want to educate the client on your system so they know what to expect moving forward every step of the way. So here's an example. When you sit down at a kitchen table, say it's a friend of yours, they've decided to list the house with you and you got the listing. You've agreed on a price and you said, "Hey, we're going to list it for 200,000," and you get the listing signed and then you just leave the house. Well, you didn't really take time to educate your client on the process so they know what to expect as you leave. So a good thing and strategy to do is have a list of 10 steps that take place. The number doesn't matter, right? Whether it's 1 or 15, 20, 30, whatever that number it is. Just have something where you can educate your client and say, look, step 1, we're going to schedule photography. Step 2, we're going to start to market your property to your neighborhood on social media, and we start to show it on said date between this time and a end time, right? Whatever fits their schedule. And then walk them through the process of, once you receive offers, how are you going to field the offers and help mitigate that risk by pre-qualifying and making sure the offer that you have, the buyer who is making that offer, is capable of closing the deal. Walk them through what the inspections look like, what goes on during the option period, what are potential obstacles that could come up. Look, at the end of the day, a real estate agent doesn't get paid to open doors and share and bring people into the house. An agent gets paid to provide solutions for problems that come up. And in the business of real estate, there are a ton of problems that can present themselves. So the more you know about those hazards, the better you can educate your client. So when a situation does arise, it's not a curveball. They don't feel stressed out because you are able to help them anticipate any potential problem that might present itself during negotiations. So educate your clients on that. Refusing to get real with clients. And this kind of ties in with number 3 too. The example I wrote down is, imagine a doctor walking out of a patient's room and saying, "That guy has terminal cancer and less than 6 months to live, but I just didn't have the heart to deliver the bad news." Imagine if a doctor did that. Like, you've got to deliver bad news. Whether it makes somebody feel uncomfortable or not, it's your job. That's why we're in the business of what we do, is to be real, to be honest, and to put our client's interest ahead of our own. And sometimes that means telling the client or potential customer, maybe their house is overpriced, maybe what they owe on their mortgage and where the market value is are even with each other, and they may end up losing money if they sell their house. Sometimes what agents would do is overprice it just to take the listing and try to convince themselves and the seller that it's going to sell and they're not going to take a loss. You cannot do a maldiagnosis, right? You've got to be real with them and let them know what's going on with their situation. Or perhaps you've got a buyer who's approved for 200,000 and what they're looking for in the area that they're shopping in is really a $300,000 house, and you know that their approval is not going to get them into that neighborhood. So rather than telling them now that, hey, it's not going to happen, we're going to have to readjust the location you're looking for or figure out a way to get an extra $100,000. You start showing them houses and wasting their time only to find out they can't get into the neighborhood they want to live in because of budget. There's nothing wrong with having those conversations with your clients up front. So get real with them, be honest with them, and be honest with yourself. 5, this is huge. Botching communication with clients. So for those of you who know me, I specialized early on in my career working with expired listings. Basically listings that were on the market for 6 months to a year and the agent was unsuccessful at selling the property for whatever reason. One of the most common things that seller shares with me once we have a meeting is the agent never called them to update them. They never gave them feedback of what buyers were saying during the showings. So at the end of that 6-month period, the sellers aren't any better off than what they were before they listed. They don't know why people weren't interested in their house. And they're kind of wondering, like, why didn't my agent reach out to me? Excuse me. But yeah, so don't botch the communication. The first time you meet with somebody, you should ask them, what style of communication do you prefer? Whether it's a text message update, an email update, a phone call, a video message, a conference call. Figure out what communication style works best for you and your client, and then schedule a regular follow-up, whether it's daily or weekly or bi-weekly. Just let them know that you have a system and a schedule to keep them abreast with what's going on in the real estate transaction. Excuse me, I've been sneezing like crazy. Excuse me. Thank you for staying tuned. I'm so glad this is a video and I'm not sneezing all over you. But yeah, those are the five things, five mistakes, five common mistakes that a new agent can make, and sometimes even a seasoned agent. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any more questions about embarking on a career in real estate, or maybe you're already a seasoned agent and you just want to take business to the next level, reach out to me and I'd love an opportunity to help you. Remember to subscribe to this video. Watch one of my other videos. I think the subscription button will be like here or here, and the videos might be here. If I'm doing it right, it should be popping up. So thank you for watching again. Jaime Aguillon. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, your wealth building realtor with Keller Williams Heritage. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.